Friends, do you have the hankering for some live music in an outdoor venue and some good food? We have the latest information on the Riverbend Festival. We are now joined by Mickey McCamish, the Executive Director of the Friends of the Festival. Welcome, Captain McCamish.
Scott, thanks so much for having me this morning. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Now, your first year as the Executive Director of the Riverbend Festival, and we get hit with COVID. I'm sure you reached down to all your leadership experience to include 3 decades as a naval officer. Captain McCamish, what decision did you come up with as far as the festival goes this year?
Well, Scott, it was a difficult decision just in terms of the festival had been around for 38th year. We were all geared up to go into our 39th year. The virus came in, our board met numerous times, and just felt that with as large as the festival is, the number of people, the 33 to 40,000 people that come out to the festival, with the way the virus is out of control, no vaccine, we just felt that people would feel a little bit uncomfortable coming out. And for everyone's safety, we felt it was better to start looking firstly at rescheduling the festival. And that's what we did. We looked at rescheduling the festival from our May the 27th to 30th dates to in July, to in September, to then into October the 8th through the 11th time period. But then after going through and looking at all those dates and then still seeing how the virus was out of control, we decided to cancel Riverbend this year. But we are going to be doing a fall festival. It just will not be a Riverbend festival. And again, when you think of Riverbend, you think of large crowds. Well, yes, we're abandoning that idea right now, and it will be a live festival, but it's going to be on a much smaller scale. It will be on the same side as Riverbend. We will have probably a 2-day festival. We're still working on the artists that will be performing during that 2-day period, but it will be a much smaller crowd, perhaps half the size of a Riverbend. So we're talking in the 15 to 20,000 people, but remember they're over an area in excess of a mile, so that there's plenty of room to carry out all of the CDC protocols, the Tennessee Pledge protocols, and the Hamilton County Department of Health protocols that we will follow through to make sure it's done in a very, very safe manner. And that includes masks, providing free masks for people, doing social distancing. You can do some fun things like thought about even putting like hula hoops on the ground. And you could get people to stand inside the hula hoops, and then you separate the hula hoops by 6 feet, for example. Or you can do ground markings. The idea is to produce ground markings, make it a little bit of fun, and still enforce the social distancing. But it's a fun way to do it. Just always remind people of that we have to abide by the rules to keep everyone safely, not only yourself, but all those people around you. So we are moving forward with that.
Yeah, I love the way you're thinking outside the box, or maybe outside the hula hoop. I'm not sure what we want to call it. But you also have something else going on. And tell us, what are we going to be seeing evenings in July, starting in July?
We do. For the past 12 years, this would be year 13 coming up, we've done a Riverfront Nights music series. And this year, that series, what we've done is because of what we've been through thus far in the first 6 months of 2020, the pandemic, the tornado that we hit. So we've got hit twice. And then, of course, there's been the protest march that occurred. And so what we felt was that we really needed to come up with a theme for Riverfront Nights. And this year, we've developed the theme of uniting Chattanooga, and call it healing and uniting of our community, and really using music as the vehicle to do that. And so what we've done is we've themed this year our Riverfront Nights to call it Chattanooga Unite, a healing and uniting on the river. And that will start with July the 11th, the 18th, the 25th, August the 1st, 8th, and 15th as our live summer music series that we're calling Chattanooga Unite this year. And it's an opportunity. We've expanded the space, we've doubled the space. And again, keeping in mind of social distancing and having free face masks for everyone. I've got 18,000 face masks right here in my office, in our warehouse, I should say, that to make available to the public. And we'll have hand sanitizing stations for people. We'll have about 5 or 6 of those out there. We'll have with our portalettes, we'll have them sanitizing units inside the portalettes themselves. Plus, we'll have volunteers that'll be hand sanitizing all the way from microphones from the artist. We'll have the standing 15-foot distance away from the stage. We'll have all sorts of ground markings to make sure that when people purchase the food, the beverages, that they do follow the social distancing guidelines. Of course, all of our staff, our volunteers will be in masks. And depending on the positions that one has, even maybe gloves in some cases. But we're going through the extra miles to make sure that it is a safe event. But we feel that our community needs an uplifting event. We really need something. The news is so sad. I've turned on the news, and I must admit to you, I've gotten so that I put it on mute sometimes. I just watch more of Andy Griffith because it makes me feel better. But
And this coming
our
from a man, this coming from a man who served during the Vietnam era, I mean, it is heavy. It absolutely is very heavy. So
it is, Doc.
tell me this, Captain McCamish. You obviously have a lot of moving parts and a lot going on. Love the idea of music, and if you were here to see me in person, you'd see that I also enjoy food. You mentioned food and beverages. Tell us a little bit about the food and beverage, adult beverages, I presume, and what are we talking
Yes,
about
sir.
as far as food?
We'll have adult beverages, and we've invited a lot of our local restaurants, food trucks, to come and participate because these businesses have been without any business for a number of months. So it's an opportunity for them, and so we've invited them at basically just the cost of electricity. I mean, it's little or no cost to them to come out and participate, and to give them the opportunity to start to earn some business for themselves. And by having all people coming out to the event, then they can see these food vendors and perhaps even expand their business more. We'll also have things for the children starting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll have a kids talent program that will be led under the direction of Amber Carrington, who was a finalist for the runner-up on The Voice. So she has got, for the 6 weeks, she's got a kids talent program lined up for us as well. We've got our artists all lined up, and we'll be doing on July the 11th, our plans are for a Heroes Night. Of course, we're coming up on the 5th anniversary of the 5th year of remembering the fallen five. And that's really close to a lot of us. We were in the middle of that shooting when it occurred on July the 16th of 2015. But we were right there in the middle of the shooting. And in other jobs within the community that I do, it does involve me going to the Navy Operations Support Center pretty frequently. As a matter of fact, unfortunately, the terrorists came in the gate that right by where I usually park my car whenever I'm over there. So we have a real close connection with the Navy Operation Support Center. But that will be part of Heroes Night, and we'll also, all the essential workers, the doctors, the nurses, the essential food suppliers, all of those will recognize as part of Heroes Nights. We'll have the Navy Sea Cadets that will be a part of the program in presentation of colors and the singing of the national anthem. And we'll conclude the program with God Bless America.
I love that. Now, Captain McCamish, if you could remind us, what is going to be the cost of the Chattanooga Unite events, and where can we look for more information?
That's the beauty. The beauty is it's free to the public. It's free. Because we believe in it, and the sponsors that we have to underwrite the Chattanooga Unite feel that this is something the community is needed, and they want to offer it at no cost to the community. And all one has to do is really go to ChattanoogaUnite.com. You go there, you click on ChattanoogaUnite.com, and it will lead you right to the website. And if there's ever any questions at all that they don't find the answers on the website, which we tried to keep fresh, just call the office at 423-756-2212.
So, Captain McCamish, you have an incredibly colorful background. Love to talk more and get into your background, but we don't have time for that today. I know you've got a lot going on. I do want to ask you, though, I know that you're quite a golfer. If you could share with us, what would be one of your favorite holes to play in Chattanooga, and why?
Scott, my favorite hole is at Chattanooga Golf and Country Club, and I like hole number one. And the reason I like hole number one is because it's you have a view of the Tennessee River, you have a view of the mountains, you have a view of all of the greenery around it. And I think that pretty well captures Chattanooga. I think it just captures our city of being the outdoor mecca that Chattanooga is, plus all of the things that takes place on the river, all the way from the Ironman to all the regattas that take place. And I think it just really represents Chattanooga. And I say I like that as my number one hole. I like it until I tee the ball up and I hit it into the river. Then I lose. I don't like it as well.
Understood. Well, Captain McCamish, I have to thank you for your time today. I thank you for all that you're doing out there. This Chattanooga Unite is just an incredible idea. And we would love to have you on as we move through these events, get more information, share a little bit more with you. But again, sir, I thank you very much.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. You're not going to want to miss our updates on what's happening in the Chattanooga area. So subscribe to our channel and like our page.